Hey guys, it's Nate Lusk here, bringing you a 1995 classic Super Nintendo game, Tecmo Super Bowl 3 Final Edition. It's a wonderful game. It follows in the vein of Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Super Bowl, obviously. So it's made by Tecmo. It's a really fun football game. It's not quite as imbalanced as Tecmo Bowl was. There's no single player here that you can be and just absolutely dominate your opponents. But it is a really well done game. And it has a couple of things that you don't get in Tecmo Bowl and Tecmo Super Bowl. Let me get the game reset real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. In fact, on that reset, if you noticed, you go to schedule. Okay, let me show you. Go to your season game, go to your schedule, and then hit the Y button on your Super Nintendo controller. That's the one on the far left. And then you hit select schedule. You want to go to trade mode. Trust me on that. You say yes, clear it, really yes. And then you back out with the B button and you're back to the season game menu, okay? Now at this point, you have options. And those options are all fun. You can, what you want to do if you're playing by yourself or with friends and you want to trade controllers and just be one team, then that's really cool. Or you can play with multiple players, have as many of these teams controlled as you want. But these are all the NFL teams that were available in '95. And there's 30 of them, and it's really cool. What I like to do, I have them divided into tiers. The top tier teams are the Dolphins, Cowboys, Browns, Steelers, kind of the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Niners. Those were all really good teams in this game. I know what you're thinking, the Browns. How are the Browns one of the good teams? It's not because of how good they are, it's how much potential they have. They make trades really well, and that's part of the reason we chose what we chose on the schedule screen when we reset the thing. In fact, I'll just show you. We turn the Browns to man control, and then we're going to go to game start, okay? What this does is now, every team that you're controlling now has 3 chances to try to trade other teams for players. The computer might reject all 3 of them. They might accept all 3 of them. They might accept 1 of them and turn down 2. I mean, there's no telling. But the Browns have a really good base to start with. They have Andre Rison, who's one of the better receivers in the game. He's really good, actually. Their running game is horrible, but they run the ball a ton. So you can always get better running backs, and I'll show you that in a minute. Their defense, their D-line sucks really bad. They've got some decent linebackers like Carl Banks on his last legs. Pepper Johnson has really good power. And then they have some really good coverage. Langham is pretty solid. Griffin is not all that great. But Turner is one of the king stuffs at safety. He's not going to wow you with his hitting power. He doesn't get just tons and tons of tackles. But he gets more interceptions than any other safety in this game in an average season. So he's a really good guy to have, a really good guy to keep. So what we're going to do, because I know this game so well, what I'm going to do is trade players that don't have much value. Because after our 3 trades, we get to go to the free agency and see what kind of free agents there are to bring onto our team. And the free agency has enough players to field its own team. So it's 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 O-linemen, 4 receivers, so on and so forth. And we want to take a look at those players and see if there are any of them we want. But more importantly, we have some overpriced players that are not worth the money we're paying them. And we're going to dump some of them to get money to spend on the free agency. So first, what we want to do is try to improve our team as much as possible. And we're going to start that by trying to get Barry Sanders for a running back. We also are going to look at Reggie White for a defensive lineman. And we might look at getting Rod Woodson at corner, or picking up a real all-star linebacker, or actually we'll probably try and go for Jerry Rice at receiver. So let's start with Barry Sanders. So we click A on Lorenzo White, and we go try to find Barry Sanders. There he is. And if you look at the second trade there, Cleveland lost Lorenzo White and gained Barry Sanders from Detroit. So that one was successful. 1 down, 2 to go. There's Barry Sanders, the best running back in the NFL at this time. And just an amazing running back in this game. The best running back in this game. Now let's go look at, let's get Jerry Rice. We want to get rid of a receiver that we don't want, like Jackson right here, who is just not all that great. Actually, he's a heck of a lot better than Smith. Let's get rid of Smith, and let's go get Mr. Jerry Rice, the best receiver in the NFL. It failed. No one made any trades that week. So our last one, we're going to try and get Reggie White. Oh, we could go try and get Rice again, but I want to take a stab at Reggie White. We're going to trade Goad for Reggie White. At this time, he is on Green Bay. Goad for White. We got Reggie White. So we got 2 out of our 3 trades. Made a good improvement to our team. And look at the values now. This is what I was talking about. These are the values of the players that we have. And then the bottom, these are the free agents that are available by position. So since we got Barry, we don't need any of these expensive backups. We're going to get rid of him and him. We're going to pick up Ball and Dunbar. And now if you look at the very top right, it says FA points remaining. That's free agent points. We want to spend all of that money and have it all spent whenever we're done with this. But for right now, we're going to build up more and more and more free agent points so that we can get better players. We're never going to use our backup, so we'll get a cheaper backup quarterback. Let's go look at receiver, where we did not get Jerry Rice. This guy, Alexander, is actually not bad, but he's not worth the $110 that we're paying him. Especially not when Ricky Sanders is almost as good. But we need 2 good receivers. Actually, Jackson isn't bad either. But Alexander's only barely better than him. Smith sucks, but he's only 20 bucks. We're going to dump Jackson. We're going to dump Smith. And we're going to pick up Ricky Sanders and Steve Tasker. At tight end, Pat Carter's available. Pat Carter sucks. Kenshin sucks. And Reeves is a really good blocker. We're going to dump Kenshin. We're going to have Reeves as our starter. Johnson as our backup. See, we're up to 260 free agent points remaining. And this is where you can really make some money on almost any team. Our offensive line is unimportant. For some reason in this game, you just want to get at least a 50 in hitting power. Nothing else seems to matter on your offensive line. And if you have 1 or 2 guys that aren't quite a 50, you're still going to do fine. So we're actually going to dump our whole line, pick up all of theirs. Now we're going to D-line. There's Reggie. I want to reorder this. We run a 4-3 defense. So 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. So I know I want Reggie. Pleasant's not really all that good. So Reggie will be on one end. There's Pleasant. He's meh. Burnett is actually pretty solid. So we'll keep Burnett. Townsend is worth using. So we're going to get Townsend for the other tackle. Who's this Hall guy? Rhett Hall. Nah. Actually, we'll put Rhett Hall at tackle. Townsend at the other end. And then we're just looking for cheap backups for the rest of them. Boom, boom, Sims and Grossman. We now have 830 free agent points. Man, we're not even going to be able to spend it all, I don't think. Because there's, oh, there we go. Deion Sanders. Oh, and J.J. Carrington. Okay. But we are going to spend it. We may just have to get back some more expensive players. Caldwell. Not good. You suck. We're going to get Wilbur Marshall instead. Johnson and Banks are both pretty good. We'll save some money by also getting Vanderbeek and Mack. Mack is one of the most underpriced guys in this game. The 2 important things on defense generally are hitting power and quickness. And 50 is my cutoff where I'll say he's actually good or not. Rico Mack only costs 10, which is the minimum. And he has a 50 hitting power and a 56 quickness. So he's a solid player for only 10 bucks. Best backup you can get at linebacker. Just a good guy. If you'll pay attention, Vanderbeek, who's 30, doesn't even have the hitting power that Mack has, but he is a 50 in quickness. The other ones that are cheap are Glenell Sanders kind of the same as Vanderbeek, but not quite as good. And Darren Jordan, who's really bad. So, yeah. Cornerback. Corners actually are not that important in this game either, but we're going to get Dion so that when there are more expensive corners to take, we already have him to dump for his money. Jones is not very good for 40. Cook is actually way better for 40. Way better. He's actually really usable. And we're also going to dump Booth for Pickens, who's not bad either. And then at safety, we keep Turner because he's awesome. Moore sucks and Cecil sucks, so we'll get Carrington. And we'll also get Dennis Smith because he can lay a lick, 63 hitting power. Man, we still have 570 to spend. So we're going to get a more expensive backup quarterback. We might as well get Vardell back as a backup. We've got to spend that 320 because we don't want to have it left over. Who was the kicker on the free agency? Treadwell. Let's see, Stover is a 44, 38, 50. That's kicking power, avoid block, and accuracy. 44, 38, 50. Treadwell is a way better. He's just not quite as accurate. We'll take him. Back to our O-line. We might as well get some of our more expensive players back, but we're going to make sure that we get rid of the ones who aren't good, which includes Sims and Melander, I believe. Yeah. Sims and Melander. We get back Everett and Jones. So now we still have that money. The next time we need some money, we have more offensive linemen to dump. And then at D-line, we have 30 bucks left. No one there is really worth anything. Let's look at linebacker. I don't think we really have any upgrades there. The corners we got are actually the 4 best corners available. And there's nothing at safety anymore. So, where do we spend our last 30 bucks? We improved Tasker to Matthews. We still have 20. So we can actually go from Reeves back to Carter, who's technically not better, but it doesn't matter. We're just making sure we spend all our money. And we're done. Now here's what I like to do. Auto skip to week 17, which is the whole season. Turn my team off. This is much more fun with multiple players. And then go back to your schedule. Oh yeah, we already auto skipped. And game start. Let the computer simulate an entire season. Watch what happens to the lowly Cleveland Browns. You see that 40-14 win? Our goal here is to get through an entire season, hopefully win a Super Bowl when we're not even controlling the team. And then we get, before the next season starts, we get 3 more trades and another free agency run. And the computer will dump some players to the free agency most seasons. So there will be new options there that weren't there this year. But we're going to take another stab at Jerry Rice. We'll also take a stab at some linebackers because we're a little soft at linebacker. And we'll try and get Steve Young at quarterback. He's the best available quarterback in this game. You also need to know which players are not sticky. I call them sticky because they don't like to be traded. There are certain players that you'll practically never get on trade. And there are some that aren't sticky at all. The ones that are easiest to get are Reggie White, Barry Sanders, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Rod Woodson. You don't even know who these people are because most of you are kids. Okay, of all the best players in this game, most of the really best ones are actually available for trades. If you're looking for a good quarterback, the single best quarterback in the game is Steve Young for the San Francisco 49ers. You go get him, and you've gotten yourself a championship quarterback. Running back-wise, there are a few really good ones, but at the top, the 2 that you can go get are Barry Sanders from Detroit Lions, who's by far the best in the game, and Emmitt Smith from the Cowboys, and both of them have incredibly high values. So if you can actually get both of them, You can throw Emmitt Smith back to the free agency. He's worth 360 free agent points. And then spend that money on someone else to improve a different position. At wide receiver, you want to get Jerry Rice from the San Francisco 49ers. You want to get Andre Rison from the Cleveland Browns. You want to get Tim Brown from the Oakland Raiders. And then there's several other guys. There's Michael Haynes with the Saints. Is he the Saints or the Falcons in this game? He might be the Falcons, but I think he's the Saints. Great speed, great hands. They're all worth keeping. They're also worth a lot of money. If you have too many receivers, you can dump them for cash. At tight end, there are only 2 tight ends in this game that are far and away better than the rest. One, the best tight end in the game, is Eric Green from Miami. The second best tight end is Ben Coates from New England. If you can get out of one of them, then you've gotten one of the best tight ends. O-line. The only reason you pick up O-line is to get money off the free agency. But if you're going to do that, you go get Dermontti Dawson. He's the center for the Steelers. Or you can get, there's various guys on lots of teams. The Cowboys have a couple. Larry Allen, Nate Newton. The Vikings have, gosh, what is his name? I'll remember it in a little while. Randall McDaniel. Disgustingly good offensive lineman. Worth a ton of money. D-line, on your defensive line, these are guys you want to keep most of the time. The best one in the game is Reggie White, who I just got for my team. You also can look, and he's easy to get. Another really good non-sticky one is from the Buffalo Bills, Bruce Smith. But he's not named Smith because he wouldn't sign a contract for this game. His name is D.E. Bills, defensive end for the Bills. So you can go get Bruce Smith all day long. The other really good ones are not quite as easy to get as those two. They're just not. They just don't trade quite as easily. But they are from Atlanta. What is his name? What is his name? From Atlanta, defensive lineman. I've got a list of all these somewhere. Let me find them real quick. I actually make full spreadsheets of every team in this game. Hey, there they are right there. Cool. Yeah. I have several spreadsheets, one of every team, and then I have one that's every player separately, just ranked. So, yeah, here's the easy way. What were we talking about? Defensive linemen. Yeah, boom. Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Charles Haley from the Cowboys, Pat Swilling from the Raiders, Tony Bennett from the Colts, Chris Dolman from the Falcons. That's the one I was thinking of. Artie Smith from the Bengals, Neil Smith from the from the Chiefs, is an absolute monster. And then there are several other good ones. If you need more, I can always provide more. Linebackers. There are lots of good linebackers in this game, but some of the better ones are going to be Seth Joyner from the Cardinals, Kevin Green from the Steelers. Junior Seau is probably the best in the game, at least when the computer is simulating seasons like we are now. Junior Seau is the best. He almost always leads in tackles, and he's with the San Diego Chargers. Vincent Brown of the Patriots is fantastic. Cornelius Bennett with the Bills is really, really good. The Steelers actually have 2 All-Stars. Not only do they have Kevin Green that I mentioned earlier, they also have Greg Lloyd, who's also a beast. Hardy Nickerson with the Buccaneers. Ken Harvey with the Redskins. Ken Norton. I'm sorry. Yeah. Is it Ken Harvey? Ken Harvey? Kevin Harvey? Yeah, it's Ken Harvey. And then Ken Norton from the Niners. Derek Thomas with the Chiefs. He also did not sign a contract, so his name is LB Chiefs, linebacker Chiefs. And then there's a whole bunch of other good ones. There's lots and lots of good linebackers, but those are the best from best order to worst generally. Although Seau technically is the best, and I didn't name him first. Cornerbacks. Cornerbacks are not necessary for some reason to do really well in this game when you're simulating the season. If you're going to play the game, then yeah, you want fantastic cornerbacks. But if you're going to simulate it like I do, they're less important, just like offensive linemen. And I'm not sure why. But the absolute best cornerback in the game is Rod Woodson with the Steelers. He's also the hardest hitting cornerback in the game. He hits as hard as most of the safeties. And he's tied to be one of the fastest players in the game also at 75 speed. So he's just awesome all around with great hands, good tackling, awesome acceleration. He's just a stud, and he's worth tons of money at the cornerback spot. He's the maximum amount that any cornerback gets paid. The second best corner in the game is on the Saints. His name is Eric Allen. He's fantastic also, super stud, but not a tackler. There are very few tackling cornerbacks in the game. And then after them, you have Terry McDaniel, Troy Vincent, Chris Dishman, Donnell Wolford. Those people are on the Raiders, Dolphins, Oilers, and Bears. And then there's a few more here and there that are pretty good. But you go get Woodson first from the Steelers. And man, you never, ever regret Rod Woodson. Even if you don't keep him, you get tons and tons of money off of him when you drop him to the free agency. At safety, the best safeties are Eric Turner from the Browns. That's the one that we kept on our team since we are the Browns. There's Darren Woodson from the Cowboys. And then Steve Atwater. Oh, see, we already clinched our division. We were the first team to clinch. Steve Atwater from the Broncos is fantastic. Tim McDonald from the Niners is all right. Actually, he's pretty good. And then there's several others. Bengals, Niners, Oilers, Bears have Williams, Merton Hanks, Marcus Robertson, and Mark Carrier. And then there's several other good ones in the game. But those are enough to get you going. And then after that, there's kickers and punters. And honestly, who gives a crap about kickers and punters? Get a good kicker or punter if you already have every other position filled, including backups. That's how important the kickers and punters in this game are when you're simulating the season. Now, if you're playing the games, you might want a decent kicker, for kicking long field goals or something like that, but I don't ever sweat it. So we're not going to talk about kickers and punters. However, since we clinched already, that means we're drawing closer to the end of the season. We're well over half. And there's one other secret to this game that I haven't told you yet. If you will spend the time and energy to play, Denver clinched, to play and win 3 Super Bowls in a row with the same team, you will unlock more free agents. They are Hall of Fame legendary players that will be in the free agency the next time you run a season that allows trades. Now, the problem with it is if the memory on your game ever gets reset because you don't play it for a couple of years or you jostle it a little bit, it will reset that also, and you'll have to go unlock them again. Unfortunately, mine's been reset, and so I don't have them unlocked, but I have before. Every one of those All-Stars, of those stud Hall of Famers, are worth having on your team. Some are better than others, but they are all disgustingly good. Wow, the Bears clinched their division. That's crazy. So the reason I say that I have tiers of teams, also, I want to explain that a little bit better. Miami just clinched. The Miami Dolphins already have a championship caliber team. Dallas already has a championship caliber team. Raiders are really close to having a championship caliber team. So are the Niners. So are the Steelers. Here are the end of season rankings. We went 12-4. We scored 101 points more than we allowed. I hope 12-4. Well, it is the best record in the AFC, so we definitely have a bye. There's Dallas. See, I told you, they're already really good. Chicago and Minnesota went to the playoffs from the NFC. as did Atlanta and New Orleans. Okay. We have a bye. We play the winner of Pittsburgh and Miami. These are the All-Pros. I'm going to see if we have any players on this. All we have is our kick returner, Bruce Pickens. He's terrible. Rob Burnett on defense. Okay. We got hosed. This game also has pretty realistic stat keeping. For instance, let's go to the NFL leaders. And let's go to rushing. Barry Sanders is our running back. Oh my gosh, and he's not even on the front page. There he is. 157 rushes for 953 yards. That's a 6.1 average. Why did we not run him more? If we'd run him 340 times like Emmitt Smith got run, and he maintained the same average, he'd have hit 2,000 yards easy. But we're not that smart, are we? Okay. I don't even play the playoffs. I want to run this through so y'all can see the next round of trades and free agency. You can't super fast sim the playoff games. They have to go by one. Miami gets back Eric Green, the best tight end in the game. Pittsburgh gets back Jeff Zagonina, one of the worst defensive linemen in the game. And we'll be playing Miami to try and make it to the AFC Championship. That sucks. They're a good team. So is Pittsburgh, though. It would have been bad either way. Tillman comes back for the Bears. I'm going to say the Bears win this. They're a little bit... No, I guess not. I started to say they're a little bit better than the Saints, but they're really not. Neither of those teams are very good. Dallas is going to crush the Saints now. Bernstein comes back for the Broncos. Broncos will win this game. Yeah, quite a bit. Helps to have John Elway at quarterback. He's no Steve Young in this game, but he's definitely better than whoever the heck that other team had. Atlanta takes out Minnesota. Here's our game. We got to beat Miami here to make the AFC Championship. Wow, that was a crushing defeat. We got thumped by Dan Marino, 343 yards. Barry Sanders didn't run for crap. They're running Leroy Horde all the time. We're going to have to get rid of him. Eric Turner did get us an interception. And then don't even throw the ball to Rison. What are you doing, man? The computer is so stupid in this game sometimes. But that's okay. We're going to make the team better. That way when they do throw next season, we'll have a better quarterback to throw with. Winner of this game makes the Super Bowl. Miami it is. See, when I was telling you Miami's a championship caliber team to start with, that's what I was talking about. We didn't help them at all, and they made the first Super Bowl. Dallas will win this. Miami versus Dallas. It's pretty common in this game, especially for the first season. The real hiccup, though, is that being Miami is difficult because, for some reason, a lot of players won't trade to them. They don't want to go to Miami to play. Here's the Super Bowl. Miami gets back Jesse Solomon at linebacker to take on the hated Dallas Cowboys. And that'll do it. Yeah, too many interceptions by Dan Marino. When you are the Dolphins, for some reason Marino throws a lot of interceptions in the playoffs. He can have good seasons with not a ton of interceptions, but get to the playoffs and he throws a lot of them. Even if you've got Jerry Rice and other good receivers. Okay, we go back. We take control of the Browns again to start the new season. And here we go with 3 more trades. Let's go get Steve Young. Thank you. We got Steve Young. Now that we have Young, let's go get Jerry Rice. We did not get Jerry. Oh, we did get Jerry Rice. Yay! So that's 2 already. Why is Barry Sanders way down there? And I really want a linebacker. Wouldn't kill us to get a D lineman either. I think I'm going to get Bruce Smith. That's him right there. Bills. Got him. Oh, we lost Pickens. But we got Buckley for him, who's worth a lot more money. Cool. Wow, we've got a really expensive team now. I'm going to see if there are any free agents worth getting before I start dropping people. There's Nate Newton. Oh gosh. Is that Artie Smith? Yeah, he's worth getting. Artie Smith and Darren Perry. Yeah, there's 2 guys worth getting. So, let's put Barry back on top of our running backs. Whoops. Oh man, I wanted to get rid of Horde and I forgot. Because they give him the ball so much, it pisses me off. Our receiving crew is Rice and Risen now. Really good crew for... you know what? I'm going to dump Alexander for Sanders and then Tasker. That gives me a little bit of cash. Do we want to dump Everett? 63 power and 50 agility. Or Jones, 63 power, 25 agility. Wow, and he costs more. We're dumping Jones. And we're going to pick up, he's not bad, 56 power, 56 power. We'll take Dahl. Alright, here's our first free agent that we want. Let me reorder these guys. We only need 1 good backup. So, we're taking Reggie. We'll take Artie Smith. We'll take Burnett. And we'll take Bruce Smith. And the only reason we want a backup is for when we go into the goal line. So we'll take Townsend for that backup. And then we'll keep Sims. We suck at linebacker, but look at that D-line. That is a really good defensive line. Yeah, we're not going to get better there. Ah, man, they moved Turner to cornerback. He's going to play safety during the game, but for some reason they move stuff around. Remember that $20 cornerback we had? Miami gave us their $56 cornerback, so we improved a little bit there. Or, I'm sorry, $90 cornerback. We want Perry. There's Dion. I want to get rid of Smith for Perry, so I need 50 more cash, because we have 50. The difference is 100, so we need 50 more. We can do that right here, probably. Yep. Myra for Blake. For McGuire. We'll dump Dennis Smith for Perry. See if I want my kicker or if I want Murray. 50, 69, 44. The price is the same. 50, 50, 50. I like mine better. Alright, we have a little bit of cash to spend now. We got 80 bucks. We'll go back to our O-line. Who's this Williams cat? He's not bad. We'll spend 70 of it there. And we got 10 more to spend. We'll dump Tasker for Brooks or Rico Smith. Bill Brooks it is. We're done. And we really improved our team this season. We picked up Steve Young, we picked up Jerry Rice, and we picked up Bruce Smith. Because of all that, we were also able to pick up Perry, and we've got a really disgusting team. Wasn't there... Is there another defensive player I wanted? No, not really. Okay, we're good. The Browns are now a force to be reckoned with, because when we do throw the ball, we're throwing it with Steve Young. We're also throwing it to Jerry Rice. And our defense improved on defensive line and at safety. We're going to let this sim one more time and see what happens. How did we lose to Tampa Bay in the first game of the season? It's rigged. I always knew it was fake. It's all right. We're going to come back and hopefully be the first one to clinch our division again. We were 12-4 last season, so we want to let's see if we can do better than that this season, even though we started out with a loss. There's a win over Cincinnati. So, what do y'all want to do while this is simming? In the future, I'm going to bring you more games. This is the third of our classic game series, and it's the first time we've stepped into the Super Nintendo. It's a really fun thing pulling out all these old games. All these games remind me of my childhood and my teenage years. 1995 is when this came out. That was the year I graduated high school. And so I'm really pleased to be able to share games like this with you guys and give you some tips in case you do want to pick up one of these classic games, give you some tips on how to win at these games. If you've ever played Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl works just the same, but there's more players on the field. You have more options with your plays that you call. You can actually set your own playbook. You have substitutes. You get to choose your kickoff and punt returners. And obviously, you know, you have lots and lots of backups and trading and free agents, and it's just a lot more fun. There's so much more to the game. The complexity of it really improves it quite a bit. So it's a much better game overall than Tecmo Bowl. Although Tecmo Bowl has a huge following, because even now, because it was such a groundbreaking game when it first came out. It felt so much faster. But you know, to have a 100-yard kick return in real life takes anywhere from 10 to 12 seconds in general. In Tecmo Bowl, gosh, it'll take you a minute to run back a ball 100 yards on a kick or a punt. It just takes forever, but it was so much faster than everything that came before it that it seemed really fast. So this game is the same way. Covering the field takes forever. It's a really long, skinny field, but it's just really fun. These old games they were really well done. That's why they're still popular now with people like me, my age, and people that are into older games. They're into them because they were able to provide a kind of balance and just a quality entertainment value that lasts even now. The graphics may not hold up compared to modern video games, obviously, but the playability is just as good and sometimes better than the multi-million-dollar productions that are hitting your PS4s and Xboxes and your Macs and PCs right now. If you would like a full, gosh, I'd have to find them on my old computer if I can even find them on it. But if you'd like the spreadsheets of all the players in this game, I'll be happy to share those with you. You can leave your email address in the comments, or you can private message me with it if you don't want to make it public. And if you want to get into Tecmo Bowl and you want to have all the information up front over what players you should be chasing, and you want all of it, I'll share it with you. I even have breakdowns. You know, while this is playing through, I'll show you how this spreadsheet works. This is the player list. You know what? I'll do two. I'll show you the first one that I'll show you. Let me find those lists. I have everything. Those of you that have been with me on YouTube and Twitch for a while know that I am big time nerd. Actually, this is a spreadsheet of all the best players in the game at different positions. See, it's quarterbacks, then fullbacks, then running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, so on and so forth. This is every player in the game. These are just the quarterbacks on page 1 and page 2. Every quarterback in the game. And I have them rated by their average stat and then by their arm-only stat. And the quarterbacks in particular are numbered by average stat. And it includes the Hall of Famers. See, Niners and Jets are the two Hall of Fame quarterbacks you get when you unlock them. And they're the second and fourth best quarterbacks in this game. So I have full spreadsheets. Those are just the quarterbacks. Look how many pages there are. I've got all the running backs, offensive linemen, tight ends, receivers, kickers, punters, all the defensive players, everybody. Every single one of them. And then I have separate spreadsheets that include all of the teams, like the entire New England Patriots team or the entire Miami Dolphins team, so that you can see which team you want to start with. And I'll send you all that information if I can secure it from my old computer. I have it all on an old laptop that I don't use anymore because it's just not good enough anymore to get online and do anything with. But I'm pretty sure I can pull those spreadsheets from there and share them with you if you're really that interested. And I have lots and lots of other spreadsheets. One of the other games we're going to be playing in the long run is one I have some spreadsheets on. It's called Master of Monsters. It's a Sega Genesis game. Fantastic old game. One of the first strategy games to allow you to have a bit of a role-playing aspect to it, in that when you play the single-player campaign, your monsters that you summon gain experience and can go up in levels. It was one of the first strategy games to do that. And according to the other people I know who played the game, it has one of the best soundtracks of classic games, period. I mean, just really fantastic soundtrack. And since I've played the game, I can tell you the music is a lot more, it's not just tones like you got on my other strategy games, like Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Nobunaga's Ambition. There's actually a flow to it, and it's got 6 or 8 different music sets, so there's lots of variety to it for an old Sega Genesis game. And each one has a different kind of vibe to it too. I'm not really a music person. I know some of you probably don't understand why anyone would ever say that. But all the people I know that are music people agree that for as old as that game is, the music in it is really, really good. So I take their word for it. I know that I don't turn the music down on that game when I play it like I do some others. So I can say that much. I'll also, I was thinking in the future we'll also do some Defender of the Crown. First ones to clinch, Cleveland Browns. Thought we'd play some Defender of the Crown from the original Nintendo. And then I thought we could also further some of our series. I've got more of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. I've got Romance 2, Romance 4. And I think I also have 6 and 7. And then I've got Nobunaga's Ambition 2 on Nintendo. Nobunaga's Ambition Lord of Darkness, which is on Super Nintendo. And then some PlayStation versions also, if you want to see some of those. I have the original Diablo for PS1. That's something we could also look at in the future. Defender of the Crown, if I haven't mentioned that, for the NES, the original Nintendo. That's kind of what started all of the strategy games on Nintendo. The government kind of military simulation type thing, like Nobunaga's Ambition and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That all started with Defender of the Crown. And Defender of the Crown probably, I mean, it doesn't have as many options as those games do. You don't really control an economy. You get more money every turn depending on how many lands you own, period. But it gives you some options in your military and how you're going to attack and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty neat. It's basically a game with several mini games in it, is how I like to put it. I knew Miami was going to clinch there. That's why I got quiet. Should be the rest of the teams clinching here. Pretty close together now. Means we're almost done with this season. San Fran's going to clinch. Nope. Did they already clinch it? I missed it. No, Tampa Bay clinched. Ooh, Dallas loses one late in the season. Hey, we won another one. I'll tell you how old this game is. The Seattle Seahawks are in the AFC, not the NFC like they are now. Dallas finally got their clinch on. This is probably the next to last week of the season, week 16 out of 17. I say that because the last game of the season is almost always a Dallas Cowboys game. So expect the next Cowboys game to be the last game of the season. That's it. Miami went 11-5, not bad. We were 14-2. I actually saw the 2 losses on the screen. One of them was our first game of the season. We definitely improved. 14-2 is fantastic. I have had some 16-0 teams. I've gone 16-0 with the Vikings, the Bears, the Steelers, the Browns, the Raiders. Seems like there was 1 or 2 more. But I've only gone 16-0 and won the Super Bowl with the Steelers, the Browns, and maybe the Raiders. There's Steve Young up on top, plus Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice. Terrell Buckley's our kick returner. They all made the All-Pro team. On defense, we have Artie Smith, Reggie White. We did really well this season. Lots of All-Stars. There's Steve Young as MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. So we obviously were throwing the ball quite a bit better. I want to take a look and see how our total offense and defense ranked. We had the best overall offense. We didn't have tons of passing yards because we're not a passing team. The Browns typically run the ball quite a bit. But we were second in rushing behind only the Rams. And we and the Rams were way out in front over everybody else. In defense, we were 7th overall. Against the pass, 15th overall. Against the rush, 5th. Pretty solid defense. Really good offense. And let's go see who some of the studs were. Steve Young was the best quarterback. The only one over 70% completion. 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with a 131 rating. Really solid season for him. Almost 10 yards per attempt. In receiving, we had Jerry Rice, 3rd overall in number of catches, but he had the highest, other than Pickens, he had the highest average per catch and the most touchdowns, by the way, at 16. Let's see where Andre Rison fell on this. He's going to be, it only goes through the top 40 or so, but he should be in the top 40, I would think. Maybe it's top 60. There he is, Rison. 44 catches for 614 yards and 7 touchdowns. Still solid, but Rice obviously took all the glory catches away from him. Rushing. Man, Chris Warren barely beat out Barry Sanders in yards. Didn't get as good a yards per carry and didn't have as many touchdowns, but he did have a long one at 73. I wonder if Leroy Hoard, our fullback, is going to be on here. I wish they'd quit giving him the ball. He sucks. 3.7 average and 6 touchdowns. What a... Oh, and Steve Young actually ran for 5.3 per carry and scored a touchdown. I wish they would quit giving the ball to Hoard. There's lots of other stats we can look at. Interceptions, sacks, tackles. I mean, they keep track of everything for you. There's White and Artie Smith. Each had 13 sacks. Each of them forced a fumble also. I mean, lots and lots of stats. The main tackler is almost always Junior Seau. Boom, there he is. We need to go get him soon. Okay. So, let's kick it. See where we go. We know we got the big box because we went 14-2. We're playing the winner of Buffalo and Miami. Hopefully it's not freaking Miami again. Although, we have a quarterback this year and might be able to throw with them. We'll see what happens. The Rams win and have to go on and play Dallas. That's also not a matchup you want. I haven't taken any of Dallas's players either. They have a lot of good players. Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman's pretty good. Buffalo wins over Miami. Nice. We're going to play Buffalo. They have Thurman Thomas. He's a great running back. Andre Reed, Cornelius Bennett. We did take Bruce Smith off that team already. Dallas, by the way, also has Darren Woodson. Not Darren Woodson. Which Woodson is it that they have? Is it Darren Woodson? I never do remember. There's so many Woodsons in the NFL. And they're all good. Lonnie Johnson comes back for the Houston Oilers. Our game is coming up after one more. San Diego knocks off Houston. Dallas will probably win this. Although the Rams look tough. They had the biggest rushing team. Yeah, they actually outran us this year. They have Jerome Bettis back there. He's pretty solid. He's not great, but he's pretty good. He has a good combination of speed and power. All right, we ought to be able to beat the Bills here. Yeah. Big rushing attack. Through 218 rushing yards. 170 of it by Barry Sanders. That's how we do, baby. That's how Cleveland wins games. Run it right down their throats. The everyman, Brian Mitchell, is back for the Redskins. The Niners ought to win this. Even without Young and Rice, the Niners still pull out a victory there with Testaverde and practically no one else on offense. Because their running game sucks. AFC Championship, guys. If we win this, we're in the Super Bowl. Oh, and we got back the best safety in the game. Nice. Yay, we're in the Super Bowl in our second season with Cleveland. Look at that defensive stop. We made 6 sacks and 4 interceptions. That's how we won, even though they got more yards than us. 6 sacks, 4 interceptions. Young threw for 100% completion. That is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen 100%. Bruce Smith got 2 sacks. Reggie White got 1. Sanders got 2 interceptions. Turner got 1 and Carrington got 1. Great coverage team back there. We're going to the Super Bowl. But who will we play in the Super Bowl? Will it be the Rams or the Niners? Gosh, I've got to think that the Rams will win this since we gutted the Niners offense. And the Rams have kind of been rolling over people. Heck, they already knocked off the Cowboys. And the Niners take it with nobody. With Vinny Testaverde and Niners, which is John Taylor at receiver. He didn't sign a contract, so he's called wide receiver Niners. Surely they can't beat us. We have a better defense. We got a way better offense. I mean, no way we lose to these guys, right? It's our Super Bowl. Let's win it. Oh, no, that is John Taylor. Oh, so wide receiver Niners is not him. I wonder who that is. Maybe it's Terrell Owens. I don't know. Nice second half comeback. And we won a Super Bowl in the second season with the Cleveland Browns. I told you, the Cleveland Browns are where it is, baby. Barry Sanders ran for over 100. Bruce Smith, Reggie White, and Artie Smith all got sacks. And Darren Perry got us a pick. We're going to run through just the trades and the free agency. And then I'm going to turn this baby off and let you guys get back to what you're doing. Maybe let you go find a way to download this game, or if you have something that will play the old Super Nintendo game, you should be able to find it on Amazon or something. We need to do something a little different here too. Because they moved Eric Turner off safety for us, we need to put him back at safety. So I'm going to try and finagle that real quick. Okay, they have him at safety here, but they have Sanders at safety too. We don't want that. We want Carrington at safety. There we go. So now Langham, Cook, Buckley, and Sanders ought to be our DBs, our cornerbacks, with Perry, Turner, and Carrington at safety, which is what we want. Let's see if it worked. It doesn't always. Time to trade. Okay, good. It did work. Perry, Carrington, and Sanders. No, not Sanders. Turner. Dang it. Oh, well. Let's make some trades. We want to start breaking up the good teams like the Dolphins and the Cowboys and the Steelers. So first, let's go trade Toy Cook for Rod the Beast Woodson. Look at those numbers, dude. He is sick. Sick, I tell you. Cook for Woodson. Didn't work. Dang it. Warren Moon got traded to Tampa Bay. That sucks. Alright. Let's trade Ball for Emmitt Smith. Dang it, that didn't work either. We're 0 for 2 this season. We need linebackers too. So let's get rid of Vanderbeek. And let's go get Junior Seau from San Diego. Alright, that one worked. Good. At least we improved. And now let's see who's all on the free agency. Nobody. No one. Fox isn't very good, so no one. There's really no sense in changing our team up. But I am going to reorder them just to make sure that they get played in a particular order, because we definitely want Risen getting more playing time than Brooks and Sanders. Oh, see, this is bad too. We want this to be White, Smith, Burnett, Smith, Townsend, Sims. So take them off in that order. That means that they get put in that order. Boom, 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 boom. There. 4 starters, 2 backups. There's good old Junior freaking Seau, baby. Look at this mamma jamma. Tons of hitting power, massive quickness, and good maximum speed to go with it. Maximum speed is how fast they run. Running speed is how well they move before, like when you're not controlling them, kind of thing. It's weird. It might be acceleration. It's really weird how all that stuff works, because it doesn't work very well. Yeah, and then they got all that screwed up. That's okay. That's it, guys. I try to keep these videos to an hour, and we're right on the hour now. So that's one way to play this game. Eventually, we might actually play the game rather than simming all the games, but that's a horse of a different color. If y'all want to see something like that, let me know in the comments. Make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, go find me on Twitch. And if you're watching this on Twitch, go find my YouTube channel. On both, it is Nate Lusk, N-A-T-E-L-U-S-K. Come check it out, and let me know what you think. Tell me if there's any other classic games, maybe one of the ones I mentioned before that you'd like to see. I've got a pretty good library of them, and I'll show you that. These are some of my classic Nintendo games right here. Feel free to zoom in on that and see if there are any of those you want to see. Got some old PS2, PS3 games right there. And then my Super Nintendo collection. It's so dark back in that cabinet you can't see them all. But we've got some good stuff in there too. And, you know, let me know if there's something in particular you want, particularly of these old games. And I'll see what I can get cracking for you. You guys have a great evening. We'll talk to you later.